What's up, my archfiends of chaos? Your king of the night, Vincent Valentine EX Turk, with another Final Fantasy video. Final Fantasy 15. Now, this has paid the question when I did the Grollia video. So I guess this is an extension to that video. And finally, I got the whole background to work. Now people can see my whole background. So the thing I was gonna talk about. Does Ideolas Aldercrapt have special powers that's unique to himself? Now, everybody in the Niflheim Empire has special abilities. You know, like how Arden could turn into other people, how Verstale could transfer, how Verstale could transfer his consciousness inside Magitech, anything Magitech, and how Ravis in demon form could transform twice. And Ravis was the only demon that could actually transform twice. Now we're going to be talking about Ideolas' power. Now, what I believe, now I know this sounds crazy, but I think there was actually 3 Foruses, meaning that only Ideolas can do this in his demon form, not his human form. But when Ideolas reaches his demon form, he has the power to multiply himself. He pretty much, if you can really think about it, he pretty much knows that technique that Tien does in Dragon Ball Z, where he can multiply himself. Except this time he does not. Except Ideolas does not divide his strength between 3 of them, meaning that what was following you through the Magitech factory, it was actually 3 Foroses. The first way you could tell that there was 3 Foroses. Right through it, the very first time you meet Foros, when you go on the elevator, that was the first one. That was the first one, the original Ideolas. And then once you go on the other levels, you notice he's a shadow that comes up everywhere. He can crawl he can get on the walls when it's dark. And each level, I mean, even though he can fly and stuff like that, even though he can fly, it would still take him a long time to get to where Noctis is, considering Noctis is sprinting throughout each levels of each levels of the Niflheim Magitech factory, you know. And there's, you know, so it would take him a long time. Which this is why I come with a theory of 3. And then after you defeat Ravis Nox Fleuret, you notice there's 2 Foroses. And there's only 1 Foros in the Final Fantasy 15 because Foros is Ideolas Aldercrapt. So Ideolas' secret superpower that he has that not even Arden could replicate, even if he did turn into another Ideolas, would be multiplication. Ideolas' secret superpower is multiplication. He can multiply himself how many times he wishes. So, you know, because if you remember when Ravis gets, like I said, when Ravis dies and you see all those demons come up, there's actually 2 to 3 Foroses. Which makes a lot of sense because there's 1 on each level of the Niflheim Magitech factory in Grollia. There's actually 3 of them. I know it sounds crazy, but each level you go through, because like I said, even if he can fly, he will never be able to catch up to Noctis, even flying at full speed right there. You know, especially if you sprinted. And there's like 3 Foros shadows. Yes, I get that he's Ideolas, and Ideolas would know, you know, he would know his own resonance, he would know his own way and stuff like that, but to catch a smaller, athletic guy like Noctis, it'd be nearly impossible. So Ideolas is using a special ability, you know, for this occasion. He's actually multiplied himself and sent them all to 3 different levels to capture Noctis, you know. So and like I said, there's only 1 Foros in the world. It's not like Ziggurat that already has, you know, that could be somebody from Niflheim or just a high level demon of the Scourge. No, Foros can multiply. You know, he can multiply without giving up any strength or anything like that, and they all do the same thing. That's what Ideolas' secret superpower is. is to multiplication. Now and there's also other superpower he has is he gets stronger when it's dark. And I think that makes sense considering, how Demons of the Star Scourge actually go out only at night. Only at night. Except Ideolas could go anywhere in the daytime because Ideolas is powerful. Ideolas is, the fact that Ideolas is not actually afraid of the crystal, But yes, Ideolas can multiply. And then when you notice one thing, when you notice another thing about Ferois, is when you have 2 Feroises or 3 Feroises after you beat Ravis, they're level 38. They're all level 38. So it is him. But he can only multiply in demon form. Now, I think this would have been useful if you would have turned, but, the problem with Ideolas is he can't turn back. Or if he does, the only way he could turn back is if he dies, considering you see him you see his corpse and Lucius Caelium throne. But, this would have been a useful skill during Kingsglaive. Of course, he thinks he's the Emperor and stuff like that. He doesn't really have to do it. Ideolas is the type of character that likes to use his own henchmen to get stuff for him. But he's not shy about not getting stuff for him, considering he chased Noctis all the way through Chapter 13 in the Magitech Factory as Ferois. But yes, this is a useful ability. Even if Arden were to turn into Ideolas and trick Noctis, Ideolas cannot. Arden cannot copy this ability because this ability is only unique to him. Just like Ravis's 2 transformation ability is only to himself. Each of the Niflheim Empire members have a special superpower that's different from the Lucius Caelium, different from anything else. Just like how Aranea can jump so high that she can fly because she's part of a Highwing clan. Just like how Ravis can turn into 2 forms when he's in demon form. How Ideolas can multiply himself. How Verstale could transfer his consciousness, plasmatic consciousness to Magitech weapons he makes. Just like Arden's ability to use the dark version of the King's powers. Each Niflheim member has a special and unique ability. And maybe for Loki, and I know this, I shouldn't be talking about Loki, this is not a Loki video, but maybe for Loki could survive death once, and that's probably why he survived the battle with Dusaid and went into the Assassin's Festival, which is not canon, but that's probably to show off that his ability is probably similar to Cat's, but anyways, back to Ideolas' abilities. Ideolas has, ruling it down, Ideolas actually has 2 superpowers. 1, he gets stronger when it's dark. 2, Ideolas can multiply himself. Hence why Noctis goes through the horror movie chase through the Magitech Factory. Meaning that, this is one thing I wish that they would put in Comrades, is what happened to Ideolas. I wanted to see a cutscene where he challenges Arden to get the crystal back. Because he knows Arden has betrayed him, So, I'd like to see Ideolas actually use this ability. I'd like to see Ideolas, Aldercrapt, use this ability to, against Arden. Of course, Arden's gonna beat him because Arden's way stronger, but yes, no one ever talks about the Niflheim Emperor himself. Because, thanks to Arden, he was pushed back. And I can't really blame that. That's Square Enix and Hajime Tabata's fault for, that's Hajime Tabata's fault for pushing, Ideolas out of the picture completely, and then we had to wait for a long time before Chapter 13, Verse 2, to see what happened to Ideolas and how he transformed into Ferois. But And that's why, and this is why I'm making this video. You know, this is why I'm making this video. Because, you know, it's just, you know, no one ever talks about his abilities. There's a good reason why he's the Nephilim Emperor. There's a good reason. It's not just only he's a good politician, but he's also strong. And maybe he's not like Arden or Ravis's power gauge, but his unique ability of multiplication and his strength increases when it's dark time is a very powerful ability. You don't even really have to be all that strong. If you were able to multiply yourself without losing any strength, then yeah, then you know what? You technically would overpower your enemies. You know, you could, because you'd be, you know, you'd be multiplying 3 of yourself in strength and prowess. But nonetheless, may the crystal be with you, and those are Ideolas Aldercrapt's special hidden superpowers. And like and subscribe and do all that good stuff.